Welcome and or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah. I like to talk about books in my basement, and this is the second in my recent reads that I will be uploading hopefully very soon. This is going to be the manga and graphic novels that I have read in my time away from the YouTube, and a DNF. A series DNF, in fact. We will get the series DNF out of the way, and that is, with much sadness, Marmalade Boy by Wataru Yoshizumi. Now, I have talked about this series at length in previous videos, but to make it short, I read this series as a teenager and ate it up. I loved it. It was my first manga series I think that I ever read. It is a romance manga between these two characters. There is a lot of drama. There is a lot of relationship situations happening. It's messy. It's over the top. This is a late 80s, early 90s, I feel like. Maybe was the original printing on this. Let's see. 1991. So yeah, early 90s. So we kind of get a lot of the more problematic things that you would expect from this period. And when the new collector's editions came out, I thought I would buy them, reread them, and collect them because I did love the series. And I got to volume 5, which came out last month, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. My biggest thing is I just am not in the mindset anymore as an adult for these kind of over-the-top relationship, intense, nonsensical almost things. Now, I will be keeping this first volume because I do love it, and it's got some artwork that I really like, but I am going to take the others to my local used bookstore and get rid of them because I just don't want to keep them on my shelves. I have the original printing of the last volume in this series, so it feels kind of nice to have the first new edition and then the last old edition. But yeah, I DNF'd this. I really had trouble with the student-teacher thing going on with her friend, and then I know where his storyline goes. It gets super messy, and at one point they think they're siblings, and they're like, it's okay, we'll be together anyway, and I'm like, I'm not into that. I know they're not. Spoilers, they're not. But like, the idea that the incest is okay is not okay. I have siblings, it's not okay. It's really icky. So, series DNF, which is fine. I don't have a job anymore. I have less income. That's the one less thing that I'm going to buy. So that's a win. But on to things I read and enjoyed. The first of which is a graphic novel. So that's Lore Olympus Volume 6 by Rachel Smith. I don't know if it's Smith or Smythe. Either way, I love these books. I love this graphic novel series. If you like romance stories, if you like graphic novel or manga books or manhwa, this is a series I highly recommend. If you have someone in your life that likes that sort of thing, I highly recommend this. It is, first off, beautiful. Fully saturated color. The artwork is phenomenal, and the story is really good. This is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, in which Persephone is a young goddess of spring, and she ends up in the underworld working for Hades. And they have this kind of awkward back and forth thing where they don't know if they should be together, but maybe they shouldn't, and maybe they should. And they're really pulled to each other, and it really breaks down and looks at family dynamics, trauma, repressed emotions and feelings, and like it takes apart things. There is discussions of sexual assault and blackmail and bribery. Like, it's got some heavy stuff in it, but it's so beautifully handled. I adore it. This is absolutely great. I don't normally go for Hades and Persephone stories, but that series is an auto buy for me. I really love it, and I know that it's available to read online, but I just read it as it comes out in physical print because I think you actually still have to pay to read it online, and even if it was free, I still want to wait for the physical copies because I like holding it. And so finally, the 3 manga that I read this past month and a half, which is not a lot for me. I am caught up with Chainsaw Man. So that's volume 15, and that is by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Chainsaw Man is not for everyone. It's gory and over the top and wild, but it is one of my favorite series right now. This is the second arc, which I don't think the second arc is currently airing in the States. I don't know where the anime is at because I don't typically watch anime. And so the second arc is very different from the first arc. If you have not read the manga and you're still in the first arc with, what's her face? I almost said if you're still in the first season or the first arc, this, I'm not going to spoil anything about this, but I will say we encounter the falling demon. This is her on the back. I love her so much that I actually thought about getting a tattoo of her. I like her power. I like her attitude. She is what I would call the actual definition of lawful evil. If you are a D&D player or fan of any kind, you will know that there used to be, it's not heavily used anymore, the alignments, lawful good to lawful evil. And she is what I would call lawful evil. She is a demon. She does kill people, but she has a very strict code, and I quite liked it. But I like where this arc is going. I didn't like it to begin with, but I like it a lot more as it develops. So this arc is shaping up to be interesting, especially with some of the reveals we got at the end of that. Really good. A much lighter note, the second Kimetsu Academy, Demon Slayer Kimetsu Academy. This is a very cute, just series about their build is the descendants of these slayers from the Demon Slayer series. It's basically them. It's basically them, and they're going to a school, and all of the Hashira and all of the other slayers are there, and it's their antics that they get into. This one really focused in on Inosuke and Zenitsu more than anything, which I loved. We also saw I think it's Makoto, and I can't remember his name. These two show up, and I love this little series. It's so cute. It's such a happy little read. If you like Demon Slayer, even if you haven't finished the manga or the anime, and you want something light and happy and you want more of these characters, I highly recommend this. You will get that. The characters are in it, but there is no spoilers or anything like that for the main series. Once you finish the main series, there are lots of little Easter eggs that you'll pick up on, but reading it through as someone who hasn't finished that series, I don't think anything's going to be spoiled or you'll be upset or affected in any way. It's just fun little glimpses, and you might see some characters you haven't met yet and kind of get teases for them. It's a good time. And finally, Go Go Loser Ranger, Volume 1 by Neji Haruba. So this was surprising. I will say that. It was surprising. This is set up, it's kind of like a spoof on Power Rangers, which, again, if you've seen any of my other videos, I love Power Rangers. I read the volumes, the graphic novel volumes of Power Rangers pretty regularly. And this sets up a world in which the Rangers, what are they called? The Space Rangers? Divine Dragon Rangers, every Sunday fight these monsters that attempt to invade on every Sunday this one specific spot. They always come down and they attempt to invade, and the Divine Dragon Riders fight them off. It just so happens that it's in a giant coliseum at a certain time, and it's broadcasted worldwide. You find out very quickly, within a few pages, the Divine Dragon Riders fought off the invasion of these bad guys. What were they called? I've already forgotten. The invaders are subjugated every year. This is one of them. Every year, once a week, they have to pretend to invade. They have to come up with a monster of the week, if you will, and they have to fight in this arena, because once they're killed, they just regenerate back in their castle that's still in the sky and tethered. Well, one of these little guys decides that he's had enough. He is very good at mimicking a human form, and he's going to come down and he's going to actually get rid of the Rangers for the last time. So this is about him attempting to get rid of the Rangers, and this is his first few adventures. I have not read the second one, so remains to be seen how that works out for him, but it was surprisingly hilarious and a lot of fun. This author also wrote the quintessential quintuplets. I know I'm saying that wrong. I can't say that word. Which is an entirely different sort of series, I think. So this is surprising to me, but I really like this. I liked it so much. I read this on Kindle because I got it for like $1.99 with some credit. I loved it so much I bought the physical copy and the second one. So I need to go read the second one and continue. But yeah, it's like a spoof on Power Rangers where we're mostly following the bad guy who is trying to defeat the Rangers. I really liked it. I actually watched the first episode of the anime, which is the reason I picked it up, and it was really good too. It's pretty much page to screen. So if you've watched the anime and not read the manga but you want to, I can tell you that the first episode of the anime is page to screen for the big chunk of this volume. So I don't know if that continues, but it starts out that way, so it's promising. But that is it for this wrap up of manga and comics. Let me know what you've read that I talked about. If you have any comments, questions, recommendations, anything like that. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.